And here we have the function x squared plus x minus 2 dividing by x squared plus 6x plus 8. And we want to find the vertical asymptote and the one-sided limits. So again, to find vertical asymptote, set the denominator equal to 0 and solve for x. And this is a quadratic equation, so we can use the quadratic formula or we can use the factoring method. So the factors are x plus 4 and x plus 2 equal to 0. And then set each factor equal to 0. And then from here, subtract 4 from both sides, we get x equal to negative 4. And then next, we need to set x plus 2 equal to 0. And then subtract 2 from both sides, and we get x equal to negative 2. But on the graph, we only have one vertical asymptote. We have a vertical asymptote at x equal to negative 4. But we don't have a vertical asymptote and x equal to negative 2. We have what's called a hole. So we have a hole. So right here, we have vertical asymptote. But right here, we have a hole. And the reason for that is because of this. If we look back at our function right here, the top, the factors are x. The factors are x minus 1 and x plus 2. And the bottom, we factor the bottom earlier, this. And then right here, we can see that the x plus 2 here and the x plus 2 here, and they canceled out. And so that's why there's no vertical asymptote at x equal to negative 2, but we have a hole instead. And so whenever we have a factor that cancels out, then from that factor you get a hole and not a vertical asymptote. And so this is equal to x minus 1 and x plus 4. And so that's why we only get vertical asymptote at x equal to 4. And so once again, from the x plus 4, we get a vertical asymptote at x, a vertical asymptote with equation x equal to negative 4. And then for the factor x plus 2 here, we get a hole at x equal to negative 2. So there's a hole right here. And then now we want to find the limit. Since we have a vertical asymptote here, let's approach negative 4 from the left and approach negative 4 from the right. So we want to find these one-sided limits. And so again, the way we read this is as x approaches negative 4 from the left, y approaches what? That's what it means. So again, we read it like this, as x approaches negative 4 from the left, y approaches what number, or what? And the same thing here, this reads as x approaches negative 4 from the right, and we want to know y approaches what number. So now let's take a look at the table of values so we can figure out where the y is going. So this is the x values. So these numbers are these x values, they are to the left of -4, but very, very close to -4. And the corresponding y values, they're getting larger and larger and larger. So that tells us that the graph right here is going to positive infinity. So as x approaches -4 from the left, y approaches infinity, positive infinity. And then now let's look at what happens as y approaches 4 from the right. -4 from the right. So these x values, they are to the right of -4. They're very, very close to -4, but to the right of -4. And the corresponding y values is negative infinity. So right here we have negative infinity. And then right here we have negative infinity. And now we look back at the graph. So here's -4, and this is the left side of -4. So we get closer and closer to -4. The graph is just going higher and higher and higher. So that tells us that the y is going to positive infinity. And then this is again -4, and this is the right side of -4. So as we get closer and closer to -4 from the right, the graph is going all the way down. So that tells us that the y is going to negative infinity.